When it comes to democracy, there are certain fundamentals that must be in place. For example, a foundational tenet of democracy is that people should be able to assemble. Okay? So we need space to assemble both physically, but also assemble virtually. We should be able to express ourselves, freedom of expression. Express ourselves physically, but also virtually. We should be able to move, freedom of movement. Now, in a situation where there are all those draconian laws that government has enacted to shrink the space for physical assembly, which has been aided in one way or the other by the coming of COVID-19, which they are using very much to their interests, we find that the physical space has been shrunk. But also then we take refuge to the civic space remaining online. But also that is being also shrunk because right now when you look at the draconian laws coming through from the Uganda Communications Commission and the requirements that are being propagated therein, you get to see that the citizen is being denied of civic space everywhere. Now this is not a good situation. In order for us to be able to monitor money in electoral politics, it is important that we are afforded the space, physical space, for us to be able to track the campaign trail and document the spending, be able to kind of trace the source of the money. But also we should be able to track how candidates are spending their money, how are they advertising, both online, on social media. And for that to happen, we must make sure that we are enjoying the freedoms. We should be able to reach out to the voters right now and let them understand that, you see, number one, at a time like this, you do not have to ask your elected leader for money. You do not have to ask for a candidate for money. If you want to change life, if you want to change the situation you are in, then that change you want to happen cannot fall from heaven like rain. You ordinarily would want to invest in that change. Either you invest using your energy or invest in it using your money. And therefore the point we are making is this, that the time has come for the electorate to start contributing money to the people, the men and women who have offered themselves as candidates, to stop taking money from them. Because when you take and demand from the candidates and political parties that are participating in these election campaigns, then you are shrinking your own space to hold them accountable. You see, our country never used to have this menace we are calling voter bribery. We have had elections. We had elections in 1958, repeated the elections in 1951, 1961, 1962. We had elections in 1980. We had elections in 1993. All these elections, people were voting issues. There was, all you needed to do was to print a poster, and they were in black and white. So basically, you would go to Nasa Road and print your poster in black and white, and you go put up. That's all you needed. And then you can go do a little bit of kakuyege. And so people used to vote not money, but they voted ideas. But also, even 1996, I think it was the 6th Parliament. That 6th Parliament that censured Kutesa, censured Muguzi, was a parliament which had men and women of substance. We begin to see money coming into the picture around 2001, because the truth must be told. To convince people to buy ideas, you have to labor. But with the money, they discovered that, oh, you can actually get into parliament very quick without sweating if you have money. And therefore, 2011, then all hell broke loose because too much money was pumped into the electoral process. All candidates spent themselves dry. It was the first time that we got to see that candidates were mortgaging their families, their houses, all their assets. Money lenders became the talk of the day. they were in business, and from that point forward, we have never looked back. Our politics has gotten so commercialized. But hey, it is not too late. There are still a few good men and women in the country who still think this is the wrong thing. There are those fellows who said we shall take money from the candidates because we are poor. They took it in 2011, 2016. They are taking it even now. But now, after the end of 2016, midway through this term we are completing now, a lot of people, voters, whether they are in the village or in urban areas, they have realized that actually you don't get rich. You say you take money from this candidate because you are poor, but even when you take it, you remain poor. But there's one thing more you lose. You lose your ability to hold this person accountable, okay? You get yourself in a situation where you get to be abandoned by your leader. You get to a situation where your leader, if they're in parliament or district, they pass laws and bylaws that do not resonate with your interests. And therefore, you get to be in a vicious cycle of losing. And before you know, you are getting old. And therefore, today is the time we want to rewrite the future of Uganda. We want to make sure that we reclaim our space, our freedoms, our power. Let us rewrite the democracy we want. Let us be the change we want. Let us stop taking money and gifts from these candidates and political parties. Let us instead be the ones to contribute towards them.